Kate, will you tell us the Yahtzee story?
Well, all right, the Yahtzee story. I was working on this project that was a family numeracy project, and I had asked people to come twice a week, parents, to come twice a week to a group where I was talking about activities that people could use with their kids to teach them math. And the group went for 10 or 11 weeks, depending on which group they were in. And they got a kit with, dice and scorecards and, a couple of decks of cards, that kind of stuff. And so everybody got one of those, and the idea was they would take it home, they would play with their kids, play the games with their kids, and come back and report to me what was happening, because they were kind of my test run for these things. I did an interview with them at the beginning about them and their kids, and then I did an interview at the end, again asking the similar kinds of questions. So the groups were over, and I was just calling people back for their final interviews. And so I called this one woman up. She had only come once. She came the first time, and then the other 21 times that were available to her, she didn't show. I had a little contact with her in the meantime, but anyway, she didn't show. So I was calling people to come in for their final interviews, and so I called her up. I called her up only because I thought she probably needed the $25. But, if she had said no, or if I hadn't got her, I would have left a message. I never would have pursued her. But anyway, she said she'd come in, so she came in. So my first thing, I was just wasn't expecting anything, but I was going through my interview questions. So I said, so has anything changed for you as a result of coming to this group? Yes,
Once.
she said. Well, I didn't say once. Yes, she said. Oh, I said, so what's different? Well, my marriage is better, she said. My husband and I get along better. We don't fight so much. We don't fight over how to look after the kids. The kids get along better. They get along with us. We're just all together happier. I said, well, what do you think made the change? Yahtzee. She had come to the group the first time. She had learned to play Yahtzee and got introduced to the other members. That's the only thing she had done. So I said, well, how do you think Yahtzee helped? And so she said, well, my husband and I, we started to play it with the kids. So in the evenings, we sit around and we play Yahtzee. And my husband and I had a discussion. We decided that we wouldn't help them with the answers. They would be adding up the dice, and we would just leave it to them. And if they asked for help, we would help them. But, I always want to go in and rescue them, she said. My husband doesn't like that, so we always fought about that kind of thing. Now we're all playing Yahtzee together, and she says to me, we look at each other, the kid is adding up, and we look at each other, and he says, you don't, and so I don't, and then, so that was it. Last week he sat me down on the chair, he said, I want to thank you for bringing Yahtzee into my life. It was amazing. So I went on with the rest of the interview questions, and we talked about each kid in turn and how they were doing in math in school. So we came to the middle kid, and she, at the beginning when I interviewed her in September, the middle kid had not been doing well in math, had been doing, in fact, so badly that she didn't give any marks. That seems to be the thing in our school system. If you're not passing, they just don't give you any mark. But when I interviewed her again in the early December, this kid was getting C+. I said, well, what do you think makes a difference? Yahtzee. I said, well, how does Yahtzee make the difference? And I was really lucky because this student was really observant and articulate about what had happened. So she said, well, it's not only practicing the Yahtzee, practicing the numbers and playing the dice and adding it up. Really it is because my husband and I let her figure out the answer for herself. She got more confidence in her ability to figure it out. And then also she learned how to ask for help. Now in school, when she doesn't know what's going on, she asks for help and her teacher helps her. And that is the Yahtzee story.
Thank you so much.